My whole industry is full of They'll tell you it's okay to get into debt as long as the interest rate is cheap. That's like saying it's okay to go to jail as long as the term is short. What? If debt were a physical item, it'd be a key to liberate you or a key to incarcerate you. We're going to talk about credit. We're going to talk about debt. We're going to talk about debt's correlation to slavery. And then we're going to talk about the only 3 reasons that you should ever really go into debt if you want to be strategic about it. Before we do that, I'd like to give context on who I am so you know who you're getting this information and this insight from. My name's James Phillips from New Orleans, Louisiana, or for us, New Orleans, USA. I'm a career banker and financial services professional, 13 plus years at the time of this recording. I have a FINRA Series 6 investment license, active mortgage license, active life insurance license. I actively work as a small business banker and specialist, meaning that I help with small business banking, cash flow, and lending needs, as well as on the consumer private client side, if you want to call it that, where I'm also helping clients who are everyday working class, as well as affluent clients or emerging affluent clients with their cash flow, their banking, and their lending needs as well. So you're getting this from somebody who not only has real world experience for managing their own finances and working a small business, but active career as a banker, helping individuals and small businesses with their banking needs, their cash flow, and their lending needs. So you're getting this from somebody who, again, is a professional. That out of the way, the first thing that I want to cover is something that I covered in a previous video that I'm going to link in the description down below, possibly may put on the screen somewhere at some point in this video. And that's going to be that you can perfectly build credit and credibility without going into debt. Basically meaning that you can build credit, a solid credit profile and a solid score without ever going into debt or ever taking out loans on money you don't have or building credit with money that you don't have. And it's actually something that more people need to assess and evaluate in their financial journeys. I'm not going to go into that in depth right now because it's not necessarily the topic, but I will link it in the description below. Next thing that we need to cover is the correlation between debt and slavery. It may be one of those terms that I feel like is really touchy, especially coming from the Afro-descendant community myself. I understand anytime the concept of slavery is brought up, but I think in a paraphrased definition, it's fair for us to say that slavery is essentially forced free labor. That's a short version of what slavery can be described as. When we start to dive into the definition of debt, or at least how debt can play out in your life if you're not careful, you'll start to see a direct correlation between the two. Now, when we look at our financial system, as I covered in a previous video, every single service and item that we need in our lives in this country can be financed. And that's a dangerous phenomenon. That's just the reality. Everything, even today's world with Afterpay, your basic groceries, basic clothes, your basic items now, your basic travel can all be financed out. That means you don't technically have to have the money for anything that you need in your life. And that's a very, very dangerous reality. And we can see it showing up. Debt numbers in this economy are higher than they've ever been. Our government is in the highest debt it's ever been. Corporations are in the highest debt that they've ever been in. Individuals are in the highest debt that they've ever been in. Credit card debt's through the roof. Student loan debt is through the roof. You name it. Some of the most unproductive debts and even productive debts are through the roof. That is a problem economically speaking, and that is a problem personal finance speaking wise. Even if we leave the fact that the government seems to be spending us into oblivion alone, if we leave the fact that companies are bolstering their valuations by using debt to buy their own shares and other taxes they're using to make their company seem more value synthetically, we put that to the side. You think about us as everyday Americans, everyday civilians, citizens in this country. We are creating a situation where we're going to be working for free for the rest of our lives. That's the correlation between debt and slavery. When you think about debt, debt is what you owe another person or another entity. And that basically means that you go to finance a car for $50,000. Until you pay that debt off, everything you earn up or below that $50,000, technically, in all realness, belongs to that entity that you owe that money to. Now, financing comes into play because it allows you to put yourself into perpetuity for the long haul. So that means instead of needing to put that $50,000 back out almost immediately, we're going to break this out into terms. We're going to slap a little interest on it in order to compensate for the risk we're taking for not getting this money back immediately, because that's all interest really is compensation for the risk being taken. And we're going to allow you the ability to be able to continue to finance your lifestyle to some degree or another while still paying us for the long haul. And when you think about all the different things that we have the capability to finance, cars, basic necessities, trips and vacations, use debt to pay off other debt. The list goes on. You can end up financing your entire life. And that basically means when you go to work, every dollar that you make is really something that you owe to somebody else. To the point where you can be sued and your wages can be garnished in order to pay back those debts in some cases. So that technically means, yes, they're allowing you to continue to use your money you need to fund your lifestyle. But in all actuality, at any given point in time, every dollar that you're earning belongs to some other company or corporation or entity out there. This is the direct correlation, because now the shackles, the bondage, the force is abstract, but it's very real because it can show up in a very real form in your life. If you decide to skip out on any of these debts at any point in time, they have the ability to go to court and sue you. They have the ability to wreck your credibility financially, which ruins you financially with other means that you need and access to services and benefits and items that you're going to need the rest of your life, when people have to pull your credit report to start to see your financial character. So you're in slavery whenever you're in debt. And that brings me to the next section, which is the only few reasons that you should ever go into debt. The number one reason that it's okay to go into debt, and keep in mind, every single one of these three have to be strategic. They cannot be unintentional. You can't just go do this just to go do it. And this is why people who do it, and the three I'm going to name, still fail at it and end up drowning in debt and basically end up in bondage, incarcerated in slavery for perpetuity. Number one, owning any type of real estate. Owning any type of appreciating, valuing, and especially cash flowing real estate. I'm going to throw in a primary mortgage. And the reason I'm going to throw in a primary mortgage for this is because if you're strategic, it is possible for you to make your primary residence a profitable venture for you. There's numerous ways. I could probably shoot a whole other video about that. When you think about just paying the mortgage off as early as possible, knocking off the interest. When you think about buying your property strategically, making sure that it's something that you either don't have to put a ton of maintenance in early on during your time staying there, especially if you don't plan on staying there forever, or, buying a property that you buy, that you renovate and add value to it. ADUs, additional dwelling units, are another way that are becoming really popular in the real estate market across the country. Legislation is rolling out in individual parishes and counties. We're in parishes in Louisiana, counties in the rest of the country, where they're incentivizing people to add square footage, add living space to their house, and it's increasing equity. Buying 2 to 4 unit properties that are going to cash flow in a very niche market that's going to allow for additional equity and cash flow to be built there. So there's a few quick ideas on how you can take your primary mortgage and make it a profitable venture, owning real estate. It's a good idea. Now you have to be strategic, or else somebody like Grant Cardone is completely right. It's not an asset. If it costs you more than that allows you to earn or to build an equity, it's not an asset. That's number one. Number two is going to be student loan debt. I know the boogeyman in the room nowadays. Student loan debt is still a very strategic form of debt. People just were very, very green and ignorant on pulling it out, unfortunately. Most people follow the entire economic and financial system that incentivizes us to get into student loan debt blindly, no matter what we went to school for, with no strategic plan to make sure that we made more money in our lifetime than we owed on getting that education. But I don't care what anybody says, I'm still a proponent of student loan debt in this economy if you're strategic about it. You have to go to school, obviously, but something that can pay you well, that you have upward mobility, that is promising in the future, an industry that is promising in the future as far as you can see, 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now, it's still going to be there. And you manage the rest of your finances in a way as you're earning in your career that allow you to get rid of that student loan debt, or in some cases, get it forgiven. The next thing I'm going to say is any type of debt that you use strategically to start and grow a legitimate business. These are the three major ways. If you're going to start and grow a legitimate business, the sky is the limit on what you can earn. And once you have unlimited earning capacity and you're providing value in the marketplace, you can control debt in any other financial focus point that you have, debt, investing, etc. Once you have a business off the ground that is running, 9 out of 10 times you're going to have exceptional earning capacity. You don't have to have a great education to do this. You just have to have good skills and provide good value in the marketplace. These are 3 debts that still make a ton of sense, and are very successful people in this country, top 1%ers and the 1% of the 1%ers, only use debt in these 3 capacities. Anything else you do, I always talk about how credit cards are not a form of debt. They're a spending tool. They are a financial instrument intended for you to spend money strategically and more efficiently. And they have debt components on the back end. And very rarely should they ever be used for debt. Very rarely. You should be very intelligent and very knowledgeable if you're using credit cards for debt. They're a spending tool, not a debt tool. We don't need to talk about car loans very much, basic personal loans, recreational loans, loans for vacation, all these different things. Bad financial habits. If your vehicle is not making you money or adding to your financial position by increasing your network, getting you a vehicle that is helping you to build out a network or helping you to get conversations started with people that are going to be directly productive to growing a business or advancing your career, it makes no sense. I know it's hard to say because cars are so damn expensive, and I understand that. But at the end of the day, I'm just being honest with you. You need to be driving cash cows until you either have assets growing and appreciating for you, a completed education that you can go out and make way more money than you owe to get that education, a career path that you can get way more money that you owe, or you started or growing a successful business that's going to pay for that vehicle, or you can even put in your business's name and make it an asset under your business. These are the only reasons you need to be in debt, and if you're not, then the debt is a bondage. It's a form of incarceration. Somebody who's a banker, that literally a part of my pay, my compensation, is helping people with lending and getting access to debt. I am promoting this with my clients. I am honest about this because at the end of the day, I'm also paid for you to win financially. I don't get paid when you drown out, can't afford to manage your bank account and charge off your bank account, and can't afford to invest. I'm no longer making money. I know there's a lot of stigma around us as financial professionals, but I'm just being honest. We don't really do well long term if our clients aren't growing. So as I grow this channel with the same skill set, knowledge base, and the same framework as a banker, I'm telling you, stay out of debt if it's not covering one of those three brackets, or you don't have a really good strategic plan on how you're using that debt to advance yourself. That's all facts. I want you to comment down below and let me know your thoughts on this entire topic. Let me know your relationship with debt. Let me know, how it served you or how it's incarcerated you. And let me know if you have any questions on how to use debt strategically or how to get yourself out of debt. Comment down below. Again, we're all about banking, cash flow management, asset acquisition, debt management, the acquiring and the management of debt. That's what we're about on this channel. I want to help you advance financially on a fundamentally sound level while still taking advantage of all the opportunities that this economy has to offer. So comment your questions, thoughts, and additional thoughts and comments down below. To all my pioneers, welcome back. To my new viewers, welcome in. If you want to continue to support this channel, which I recommend you do so this channel can keep supporting you, like, comment, share, subscribe. Easy, free ways for you to keep supporting this channel. Again, so this channel can keep supporting you by bringing quality content and quality education. So other than that, I want each of you to stay focused, stay in motion. I'll see y'all soon.